Hi, this is Don Cowboy Biker Adventures. Today I have for you a complete tour of Sedona. This is a tour I took with Scenic Sedona Tours, and they let me film the whole 5-hour tour. Our tour guide is Mr. Clay, and he will be narrating the whole tour with fun facts about Sedona and also about the history of Sedona. This will be part 5 of several parts to get the whole tour in, and I'll pick up here where I left off on part 4. If you ever wanted to see Sedona in its entirety, this is your chance. This tour normally costs about $126, and in my case, senior cost was $108, and it's well worth it. But here you can see everything I saw. So let's get started with part 5. I think you're going to like it.
Who said that?
The guide from in there.
Oh,
I guess you shaved recently.
yeah, I shaved recently.
You thought I was clairvoyant.
Shaved 20 years off my face, he said?
20 years younger, he said.
20 years younger.
Some days you're going to really love that.
That's right. I just turned 40. I'm not in denial. I just turned 40.
We feel sorry for you.
Yeah, it just gets worse from here, man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Wait till you hit the 60s.
Isn't aging something?
You got 5 more. You got 5 more big changes till you get to me.
My grandfather, my son's great grandfather passed away this summer back in April at 96.
Wow.
96, not exactly unexpected. But then I think about, wow, I got another 56 years.
Makes
Got
you
another
tired
56
just
years.
thinking about
to
it.
Just
totally
start
guys-
taking care of yourself.
Dude, right. That's my grandfather saying. He's like, if I thought I was going to live this long, I'd have taken better care of myself.
I just know the older you get, the longer you want to live.
Absolutely. Who wants to live forever? I don't know. I'd like the option.
I don't know about that, not on this earth
I
anyway.
don't know.
Not with the changes I've seen.
You've seen some changes. We all have. Sedona has changed a lot. It's a fast. It changes
Yes,
quickly.
Rapid growth.
There-
Such rapid
The
growth.
dates that I'm reading is unbelievable.
There's times I'm ashamed to be part of the human race, and I'm kind of ashamed of my country now, so.
Well, I can relate to that. I mean, it seemed like when I was in my 20s, you know, you could say who you were voting for with your friends, no judgment. Oh yeah, you're voting for that guy? Well, that's cool. I may vote for the other guy just because you're voting for him already.
That started less than 20 years ago being the issue.
I asked I'm like, what are elections good for? Well, dividing people. What else? How many people are divided right now just because of this election?
Yep.
Anyways, we just passed the Outlaw Barbecue on the left. The sandwich shop I like on the right. It's called Sedona Memories. The barbecue place is called the Outlaw. Good burgers. Also, Bahama Breeze has good burgers and sandwiches. And if there's any seating in the back patio, you get a nice view. That's all behind us. We're here on the strip. You'll remember Forest Road. At the top of Forest Road is where the food truck is, and we're all parked for lunch. It's on the left, just past the fire station. So when you venture off, just know how to get back. We're gonna leave the east side of town, leave the hustle bustle of the more,
The tourist part.
the more populated side of town. We're ahead of traffic. So next I'm going to take you behind the Resting Maiden up to the top of Airport Mesa Mountain. Mesa is the Spanish word for table. That's what they call any mountain that's naturally flat on top. Up to the #1 destination for catching sunsets. Now your weather apps are the best way to find out what time the sun sets each night, and you'll Just kind of arrive early enough to find parking and get yourself situated. We're gonna go up there right now, get some photos of our beautiful landscape, some Red Rock views. We're going through a windy part and a dusty part. Hold on to your hats.
No matter where you go in America, you cannot get away from road construction of some sort.
Yeah, construction accounts for the #1 tax revenue for the federal government and is the biggest generator of our economy. So you see roads that don't need to be paved and they're paving them over again because they need to work. It drives our economy more than any other business, at least here on domestic soil.
There's a lot of roads they need to fix.
I know. You know, outside of Flagstaff, well, basically, you know, the I-17, the freeway, has huge potholes outside of Flagstaff. Well, Jeff Foxworthy, the comedian, was, you know, on tour, and when he came here to northern Arizona and he stayed in Flagstaff, he wrote so many jokes about what it's like to be in Flagstaff that they paved the roads after he left. Because he was writing jokes about the foot-deep potholes on the freeway that you're driving over. He wrote, so he flamed Flagstaff, and they got on it, and they fixed a lot of the, you know, problems that he was joking about. Thank you to Jeff Foxworthy for that influence. Now over to the right, if you're ever coming through Sedona in a RV or bus, Winnebago, my suggestion, stay right here. You get this view, $55 a night. It's $35 if you're a Rotary Club member. Elks Lodge is just in front of us there. As long as you don't have a problem sleeping next to the Cedar Glade Pioneer Cemetery here. This is the final resting place of Sedona and Pearl and Theodore Schnebley, as well as some of the other pioneers, like the Thompsons, the Lunds. Very tight-knit community. All want to be buried in the same cemetery. But how's this? Not bad for $55 a night, this view.
Mine's a better deal. Mine's 14 days for free.
Are you staying in Sedona?
I'm staying outside of Cottonwood, Verde Valley RV Resort.
So, in the 30s, the airport, the Sedona airport was built. So was the resort right next to it. And this was a way for Hollywood and production to have easy access to Sedona. Now they could just fly in. They all just stayed at the resort, kind of a Hollywood hangout there. And I understand there's still Universal Studios executives and Warner Brothers executives living in Sedona today who just hop on a plane in the morning and fly to the Burbank Airport or LAX. They're less than an hour in the air to get to work, and that's half the time it would take if they were driving from somewhere around LA. They'd be looking at 2 hours. 2-hour commute. So here we are. Just to the left, this bluff here is the head of the resting maiden or bed rest rock. It's also called the Sedona or the airport vortex. There's steps and guardrails leading up to the top. It just takes a few minutes. Limited parking, but you find parking. I highly suggest finding the time, finding the gumption to make it up there. It is the most gratifying view. It's a 360-degree red rock view. No other view quite like it. Now take a look out at
the vortex is?
and there's also a vortex, one of 8. And there's signs too, actually, with descriptions of the vortexes. Out at 2 o'clock, or 2 o'clock is another flat mountain there you can see, and just below to the left there's a patch of deforestation. That was the Bradshaw Ranch in the 30s. The Bradshaws converted their ranch into a cowboy town and movie set, They used it for a dozen or so movies, but then some very, very strange events took place there. And right around the same time as the Roswell crash site over in New Mexico in the late 40s, the government had an interest in the Bradshaw Ranch and what was there, and they took it over from the Bradshaws via sequester. They took it, and it's been a military base ever since. According to military base maps, it's Area 52. Now, I've never seen anything except for a big fence around it. So it doesn't look like they built any structures or compounds. They just fenced out the public. So whatever they're protecting, they don't want to have the public give us access or anything. So, anyways, Area 52, just a mile or two outside of town, and they made a movie about this. All the events that were taking place around that time period here in Arizona. It was called Fire in the Sky. It came out in 1993. It's gonna be scary, even though in those days it was rated PG-13. But it's based off of real life events that took place here in Arizona, from the Bradshaw Ranch to the Smoky Mountains, White Mountains. So this Vista, this Miranda here to the right, is going to be our next stop, where we'll get some photos and take in the views.
We're
just going to do a quick drive-through.
Oh, we're not stopping
the Sedona Airport. This is the Sky Ranch Lodge, kind of a Hollywood hangout since the 30s.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we have a little private airport up here. It's privately owned, but maintained by the UN, and the military uses it for refueling and training. So sometimes we get a peek of some pretty cool military aircraft. Otherwise, private charters. No commercial airlines fly in to the Sedona Airport.
That's the only airport?
In Sedona.
Okay.
And I don't see anything military related. Military related vehicles would station over there by that black hangar. So nothing today. Fire department keeps their helicopter here. They use to fight wildfires during our fire season. From here, we'll get it. Not many airports you can drive into and out again without losing a day. Not a very complicated airport, this one. That's it. Rinky-dink, kind of. Straight ahead is a restaurant. It's the Mesa Grill, and they have a good product. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You see how they have a little lawn? So if you're like my son, you're absolutely fascinated, and you want to come up here all the time and watch the airplanes land and take off while you wait for your chicken fingers.
There's a lot of adults like that. How old's your son?
Son is 6.5. 6.5. He turned 6 March 21st, the first day of spring. And by now he's 6.5, like that.
Yep, just like that.
So thank you again for being my guests. There's helicopter tours, hot air balloons, lift off early in the morning.
Is this where the hot air balloons lift off here?
No, just outside of town.
Right.
But the helicopter
Out
tours.
to the left is.
Yep.
We saw them this morning.
Yeah, and by midday they're grounded again. They're only using the thermals in the morning.
This is where a lot of the cell towers are.
So it's just a couple bucks to park in this parking lot, which, by the way, is another good parking lot for stargazing or making out.
Oh.
And the kiosk just charges a couple bucks. So, and then they close at around sunset, so it's free to park once the kiosk closes. And Now you'll see some porta-johns here at the edge of the parking lot. There's actually only one porta-john at our next stop, so it is wise to use our time at this stop in case anyone needs the facilities. The next stop is kind of surrounded by national forest. It's a peace park, just kind of nestled between Thunder Mountain and Chimney Spire Rock, which you can see right ahead of us there. I don't know if you can see the park where we're heading is within our view. I'm just gonna put us as close to the crosswalk as I can. Alright.
Okay, let's go check out Airport Viewpoint. I'll just capture this. Looks like a map.
It shouldn't just, a laser goes on forever, and they shoot this through where they think the portal is, and it just disappears, and whatever's beyond the portal, wherever the laser is ending up, is, well, maybe the government knows, but we don't. They don't want us to. So right over this way, I think the skies are opening up, and we're gonna have a chance to take some photos at, I think, one of the best photo spots will be in front of this no smoking sign.
Where was that Sky Ranch or whatever it was?
So you're looking for Area 52?
Area 52, uh-huh.
The Bradshaw Ranch?
Yes, Bradshaw Ranch.
The deforested patch just under that flat mountain over to the far
Okay,
left.
right there.
Who wants to be first for
Area 52 right there, folks.
Don't be shy. Step on over.
Are you on like this as well? 1, 2, 3.
Take a look there. If you zoom in, you still look like yourself.
Hi, this is Don, Cowboy Biker Adventures. I'm here at Airport View in Sedona, looking over Sedona and Thunder Mountain. Let me show you. And straight ahead is Area 52, just at the base of those far mountains. And that's Thunder Mountain. And let me just give you a panoramic view here. What do you think?
Sedona's beautiful. Sedona's beautiful. Absolutely, yeah. The sun sets over the west. We're pretty much looking due north as we stare out at Thunder Mountain. And this is not a lot of people for what it could be. There might be a little bit of atmosphere when you come back here tonight. Sometimes live music, sometimes people passing around bottles of champagne. You never really know. There's a little bit of atmosphere, and sometimes a good amount of people. But yeah, this valley is going to fill with colors. So really quick, the geology in this area, from up here, I like to talk about it. Why our rocks are red? Because it's fascinating. From up here, it's like you're looking through a window into a room 400 million years wide. At least that's what the geology tells us and the fossil record. Actually, if you look out to the west, anywhere where you see a pointy mountain, that's a dormant volcano. Arizona used to be chock full of active volcanoes that have since gone dormant. Now, when you look out, anywhere there's red rocks, whether it's here in Sedona or China, Israel, Chihuahua, Mexico, Colorado, Utah, the fossil record tells us that it was formed under the ocean, under a large body of water. Sometimes actually it's a glacial lake, but in this case we had a tropical rainforest 400 million years ago, and this was an inland sea. The body of water that carved out the Grand Canyon actually flowed into this inland sea, mixing the water, turning it brackish. And where the waters meet, there's always a lot of mineral deposits. Well, 400 million years ago is the first time we see cyanobacteria. We know it as blue-green algae, right? Simple stuff, but it was unique. As far as the timeline of Earth and the geology, it was the very first organism to emit oxygen. Photosynthesize the sun, emit oxygen, and so, little by little, creating ozone, little by little, creating atmosphere and the air that we're breathing today. But over the course of 50 million years, it would have changed the way this entire planet looked, changed all the colors, basically oxidizing the minerals and changing the colors all over the planet, and producing our red rocks. A lot of hematite or iron encased within the sandstone from a million years of life. This is probably seen 5, 6, maybe 7 ice ages. At least that's what the fossil record tells us. So our red rocks are buttes by definition. They were formed by erosion, formed by water. You can actually see lateral lines, and those are different water levels over time. Different water levels. Now, the very top of Thunder Mountain, they find fossilized coral reef and marine life in the sandstone. And the very top of Thunder Mountain and Mount Wilson started off below the ocean, and they've been pushed up over the last 300 million years by our volcano, by our fault line here in Arizona, the San Francisco, which is beneath us, and it's still pushing the ground beneath our feet up in elevation. But it started off below the sea level, and all the lateral lines kind of indicate different water levels. As we know, oxidation happens more rapidly underwater, and so that's why the bottom of Thunder Mountain is redder than the top, right? The exposure to the oxygen. The largest volcano in Arizona is outside of Flagstaff. It's the highest elevated point at just below 14,000 feet. And it went dormant yesterday, just about 12,500 years ago it went dormant. There was a lava flow approximately 33,000 years ago, and you can actually see where the lava got to. The very top of Mount Wilson has a layer of dark brown on the very top. That's 100% magma, 100% lava rock. So you get the idea. We call them red rocks because it sounds better than rust rocks, but that's the idea. Some of the most beautiful rust in the world. Anyone have any questions on red rocks and the landscape, the geology?
Very pretty though.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, you never get tired of this view.
Oh, no.
400 million years ago, this would have been, I don't know, Arizona Bay. Probably some pretty nice surfing out. Some good fishing.
What is the vortex?
It's a term that is used. Energetic anomalies found here in Sedona. The Catholic Church, they don't use the term vortex. At least over in Europe, they build all their churches.
This is where I'm going to end part 5, and this is exactly where I'll pick up on part 6. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the adventure. So until next time, have a good one.